Okay. Good evening and a very warm welcome to another episode of Meet My Gems, an innovative and interactive approach conducted by our respected and beloved Sir Dr. Prem Kumar Agarwal. Sir, who is an aspirant of West Bengal Judicial Service examination, took the exam in the year 1999 and secured a top rank, chose the noble profession of teaching as his passion for teaching guided him to resign from the post of a judge and join the noble profession. He is currently the head of the postgraduate department of law of Hooghly Mohsin College. Formerly, he has also served as a founder faculty of National University of Juridical Science, Kolkata, or NUJS, Kolkata. He is also a visiting faculty for the National Judicial Academy of Honorable Supreme Court and State Judicial Academy of Honorable High Court of Calcutta. Sir has also authored various books on topics as varied as intellectual property rights, company law, and limitation law. He is also the editor in chief of the Global Journal of Juridical Sciences. I'm sure that not only me, but also many other students, teachers, legal practitioners, and persons from almost every other field related to the law benefited by coming in touch with his knowledge of the law and other fields of public interest and services. His teachings have inspired and changed the lives of numerous students who got to understand the very essence of education and its potential. Now, I would like to call on Sir, who himself is an entrepreneur at heart, to enlighten us on the objective of arranging this kind of helpful interactive sessions. Sir, please join the session.
Thank you, Mansi. Welcome, Banwari. Welcome, viewers, to yet another session of Meet My Gems. Today, we have a unique session where we will interact with an entrepreneur of the new generation of a unique kind, our own Banwari Lal Mittal, and a youngster belonging to the cyber age, Manshi, who is a student of NIFT Patna and who dreams to become an entrepreneur herself, will quiz Banwari on his insights and how he dreamt and did become a successful entrepreneur. Before proceeding further, let me briefly elucidate some aspects of our own Banwari's life. Me and Banwari, we stayed together in Halwasia Chhatra Niwas for a few years, and there I saw Banwari as a very, very creative person. I cannot withstand the temptation of sharing something with you which Banwari taught me when we were in the hostel. Do you remember, Banwari? Can you hear me?
Yes, I
When
remember.
when Prabhu Dayal ji, Himmat Singh ka, Nand Kishore Jalan, Govardhan Das Junjunwala were visiting our hostel on a cultural program, I asked you, since you directly have come from Rajasthan, I want to welcome them in pure Rajasthani style. And he wrote a few lines for me to welcome them. I will employ those lines today to welcome Banwari to my show. My gem today is Banwari, and the lines were मारा हिवड़ा सरदार पधारो स्वागत है थारी घनी कराम मनवार पधारो स्वागत है घर
Wow.
घर आंगन कली कली मारे हिवड़ारी कली कली घर घर आंगन गली गली मारे हिवड़ारी कली कली. So Banwari is our Hiwdara Sardar today. He has been a role model for the youngsters because these days even Marwadi or Gujarati youngsters are opting for jobs where our Banwari has resigned from job and opted for entrepreneurship. He did not take the easy path. He took the difficult path. He took the path which calls for lot of hard work, sacrifice, but in the process he has cut a figure for himself. Banwarilal Mittal, founder and executive chairman of ShastaSundar.com, is solving one of the biggest problems of India, that is, providing consistent access to affordable healthcare in a convenient manner. SastaSundar.com, all of us know, is a household name now, is a digital platform of healthcare supported by a network of physical counseling and service centers called Health Buddies. The service verticals of Sasta Sundar are pharmacy, diagnostics, and wellness. Mr. Mittal, aged 51 years, is an FCA, FCS, and FCM by education and has an experience of more than 25 years working as an entrepreneur, a social worker, and also as an employee. His areas of working have been strategic management, healthcare, and investment banking. Mr. Mittal started his career with MP Birla Group. Later in the year 2000, he founded his first company in financial services named Microsec. And in the year 2013, he moved on to the domain of healthcare and founded SastaSundar.com. Mr. Mittal is closely associated with Annamrita, a midday meal scheme of ISKCON Foundation. He is founding member of Microsec Foundation. Mr. Mittal believes in living life like a child, wherein innovation, non discrimination, emotional connect, and happiness are the integral parts. My students must be thinking how remarkably similar the life ideals of friends can be. These are also the ideals of my life, Banwari. Being
Thank you.
genuine in his values, he believes that imagination, conduct, and communication should always be genuine. This is Banwari. That's why he is my gem. That's why he is my Hurara Sardar. So now, without wasting further time, we would like to hear from Banwari his journey for the last 2 decades, how he became a entrepreneur in eastern part of India with a notable presence, who often occupy the headlines of the newspapers, by seeing which we are elated. Of late, I saw some news of his forging alliance with some Japanese company who are eager to invest in SastaSundar.com. So, Mansi, who is a budding entrepreneur at heart, will now, through her insightful questions, compel Banwari to open his heart and mind out, which will be beneficial for the next generation who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs. Mansi, you may begin now. Welcome, Banwari, to the show.
Thank you,
Okay.
Prem. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah,
Sir,
Mansi.
we are so delighted to have you on board in this session. With your kind permission, I would like to ask you some questions.
Sure, you are most welcome.
My first question is, when did you decide to become an entrepreneur and what is that inspired you to become one?
See, I decided to be an entrepreneur when I passed my CA examination. So at that point of time, the market was, it was in 1992, the stock market was booming. So I wanted to be an investment banker. And because I come from a Rajasthani Marwadi family where, the DNA is being an entrepreneur. So you can say my family, or more specific, my father always said that once you be an employee, जब आप नौकरी करते हो तो गिनती के पैसे घर में लाते हो, और जब आप एंटरप्रेन्योर बनते हो तो आप मिलियंस लोगों की लाइफ चेंज करते हो. That was his genuine statement, and that always was put up in my mind. So in 1992, when my result came, I decided to be an entrepreneur, and then the job was part of entrepreneurs, of learning and creating seed capital and creating network which is required to be an entrepreneur.
Okay. In that context, who inspired you to choose to become an entrepreneur?
So in that context, you can say my father, Savarman Mittal, inspired me to be an entrepreneur, because that happens to every Marathi family. That happens to Prem also, because our DNA is to be an entrepreneur. Our family background we get more beautiful girls and wife if we are an entrepreneur, not as a serviceman. So DNA is like that only. So DNA for culture inspired me. More particularly, my father inspired me. He was always in favor of kuch apna karo. It's not to be an employee.
Yes, that's true. So, where did you receive or get the idea and inspiration for starting your business? And when did you realize that it would work?
See, the first idea was obviously I was in financial service business. So the financial service business 1992, it was in 1992 when all the investment banking firm and stockbroking and wealth advisory was booming. So I was inside the soul. I was an investment banker. I'm good in deal making, good in writing poetry, good in speaking, as Prem has beautifully described it. So I thought to be an investment banker. That is the idea came from my mind. You can say from my professional education background, from being a chartered accountant and from the booming economy. 1992 was the open up, and I found that for a small medium enterprises there was no investment bankers. The biggies were busy in big deals, but for a small enterprising there was no investment bankers. So the idea was generated from that, and I worked on that idea for 8 years while I was in service, because I had my obligations to arrange some funding for my family and some funding to start this business. And when I started, definitely it was not an idea that I'll be successful. So I started in a very small way to become a sub broker, and then to start advisory license. But in 2005, again there was a boom. We started from 2002, 3 to 2005, and then particularly in Eastern India, a lot of steel companies were thriving. Then 2005, I was excited that yes, this is the right line and we get success. So I put up my fourth gear car into scaling, and I scaled this business to a large extent. Next idea was obviously sastasundar.com. So I tell you the background that when my father was 45 years, his kidney was damaged by sugar, because of lack of inconsistent medicine. So I tell you 2 minutes about idea behind Sasta Sundar. You know the India is the largest producer of generic medicine in the world, and India is the third largest producer of oral medicine. India is one of the largest producer of vegetable medicine. We are country of yoga, and still 65% of population don't have access to medicine, and large number of our children are living without sufficient nutrition. And that happened to my family also. Both my father and mother lacked the appropriate medicine. I even was not knowing what is nutrition. Prem was knowing that I was very healthy and fit when I was a student, very thin and athletics body. I used to play hockey. But then nobody told me what is nutrition, what is the importance of yoga. And then slowly, as the success came in, I was more busy in work, and I got obesity, diabetic. So this entire ecosystem, the problem is not of resources. We have ample resources. Problem is of data-driven supply chain. So that was driving my mind since 2000, but I was not having that kind of money to start this kind of, because this requires huge capital. It's not something very consulting business that I consult and take fees, but it required huge setup. So I waited till success of Sasta Sundar, Microsoft finance business. In 2012, we got that kind of success in Microsoft, and then the investment banking started coming down, and then I thought that let's do something better. So we did successundar.com, but fairly I must admit, that these two are the success story. Behind this success story, there are two ventures, which failed miserably. One was the PRPsolutions.com I started, and one was forcegame.com. These two ventures didn't success. Why I want to tell you? Because as an entrepreneur, it is very important that you know about success and you know about failure also. So every success story has 2-3 failures behind it. So I do have those ventures. Those were also very novel ideas, but could not get succeed. So we closed down there, and this successful idea started with my own family problem, because now the purpose was to do something for the nation, do something for the society, and do something to solve one of the big problems. So we take up this. I sold financial services and take up this Sassa Sundar. Now Sassa Sundar is there. The journey starts now. Let's see what happens to it in future.
To what do you attribute the success of your business?
I attribute to my success of the business three things. One is the culture. So you have to set up a culture of being child, as I described in the my introduction. Second is the core value. You have to decide what is the core value, what is the soul of your business. That is second thing, and third is the sheer focus. So once you are very clear that what is your culture of your individual culture, on what principles do you believe, that Sassa Sundar believes on culture of being a child. So we innovate every day, we grow every day, we don't discriminate, and we create a emotional relationship. So that is what being child is a culture. Second is that you have to decide your core value. That what is your core value which will sustain the business, which will deliver a competitive advantage to you and a genuine value to your customers. So this core value should be very clear. And third is the sheer focus. Don't lose focus. Whatever you do, you focus on that. These three things, if you are able to carve out, you will be definitely successful.
Okay, sir. Are you happy with your business and what would you change if you could?
No, I'm very much happy with this business, and definitely I don't want to change the business, but I want to change the situation of India about healthcare. I really want that our resources reach to the right kind of people and right set of the people. So my objective is purely solving this problem of data-driven distribution, because if you don't have the resources, then you can console yourself that I don't have. But you have the largest factories of the medicine, and your generation, your people are not getting medicine. You are the largest producer of milk and vegetables. Still, malnutrition is running. You are the country of yoga. Still, 25 crore people are suffering from one of the chronic disease. So these two diverse situations is the result of this one, the absence of data driven. As I was very thrilled to receive from Prem about one thing he wrote into the web, that the judiciary, that he has given a great vision that from litigation to justice. So these two words change the entire dynamics. So similar thing, same attitude in your entrepreneurship. That are you there to solve the problem, or are you there to play with the problem, or you be part of the problem? So once you become focused on solving the problem, justice, if you want to make, then everything falls in place.
Yes. Did you have any alternative career plan?
I don't have an alternative career plan, but one thing very important I want to tell you, because alternate career plan is my professional qualification that I always look into. So I am a chartered accountant. Alternative is always there. That job is ready at any point of time for me in the market. I can start my consulting business at any point of time. So that kitchen survival question never troubles me, because that backbone is there. So if you have that kind of professional skill base, you have a cool mindset of you that at any adversity you will be able to run your home at any adversity you will be able to manage your situation. So my alternate career plan lies in my own professional qualification and my skill set.
That's great. So, did you ever feel low? And if so, how did you motivate yourself?
I feel low on several times. It's not that every human being feels low. I too am a human being, and once you are into entrepreneurship, or you are being an employee, or whatever you may be, feeling low is the natural things. And I also feel low. Motivation I took from my, once you meditate and focus on your problem solving approach, then you get a lot of motivation. So once I see that I'm low, the reason of the pain feeling low is that I'm not successful. Then I always see that thousands and crores, millions of the people who are not successful as much as I have. Then I get the motivation that I am in the top, even if I fail, I am in top 10% of the people. So that once I feel low, I see low, and seeing low makes me high. So that is the beautiful combination I play.
Sir, with during this entrepreneurial journey, what are the some mistakes that you made and you wished you could have avoided?
Defocus. I was several times defocus. So if one thing I want to rectify myself, if I going back, then probably 2000 I should have started this healthcare business because that was my mission of the life. But obviously, and then Microsec was there. But in Microsec also, I give very fine examples. We started financial services in year 2000. And we did several things: investment banking, stockbroking, and insurance, and everything. But the scale was not that much as the scale of Zerodha is today. And what Zerodha does, they do only stockbroking on digital platform, only one thing. So they got more success in my own financial service business. So one thing I want to say to all the people is I narrated three things. So defocus. You should be sheer focus on one thing and do it perfectly and do it very nicely. Put all your all strength on one. There is no alternate about entrepreneurship. Either you are fail or pass. Fail, then gone, and pass, then also gone. Everybody has to go. So result is one for both failure and success. But if I made a mistake of defocusing on several times, and that I want to correct it, and I have corrected myself. I sold my financial service business and fully focus on success and doing absolutely one thing digital.
That's a very important insight. And how did you face adversity and doubt during the course of setting up your business?
See, there are several situations which you don't like that we call adversity or a fear or face. Then I decide, I analyze the issue, that what is the issue which is creating some kind of fear or some kind of adversity or some kind of blow in my test. Then there are two situations. There may be two analysis. That one thing is sure that I'm feeling low, so I don't like the situation. So can I change it or I cannot change it? If I change it, I started my process to change it. If I can't change it, then I start my process to accept it, whatever it is. So that gives me the peace of the mind. Some situation I don't like, and if I change it, I start to change it. And if I don't like and I can't change it, then I start to accepting it. So inside me, I accept it. So that is how the life moves.
It all comes with your mentality.
Right.
What are some of the skills which are necessary for becoming a successful entrepreneur and how can they be learned?
See, as Prem also said, the mindset of being a child. You see, the biggest entrepreneur in this world is a child. Anybody, Trump has the fears of a child. Barack Obama has the fears of a child. So everybody inside is a child. And you saw the biggest entrepreneur is a child. He grows every day. He innovates every day. You look at child. He put his hands into fire. He jumps himself into the water. How does he do? And how he takes risks? Because he builds the emotional relations around him. He knows that his papa is there to save him. He knows his mummy is there to save him. So this always remain being a child inside you. Always learn. Always be innovative. A child never discriminate among friends. He doesn't know who is girl, who is boy, who is what age. He plays with all with the same spirit. So the culture of being child, where you grow every day, don't discriminate, and innovate every day, is the best thing to be an entrepreneur. So entrepreneur more than learning is unlearning. Bring your inside instinct as a child and grow.
Yeah. And education plays an important role in any profession. What are the educational qualifications required for starting a business and becoming an entrepreneur?
So education, I won't say that formal education is required, but yes, definite skill set is required. So one skill you should have. So either it may come formally, say for finance business, I investment banking business, I was having my CA course. So it's not a degree, but that skill set I required during my study. So I started my financial service business. But once I started successful in the business, I had the resources to hire the people who understand this healthcare. So that point of time, the capital was there, and my skill set of administration was there, management was there. So you need a certain set of skill set, which is prerequisite, the core value of your business. So what the business you are starting, what is the core value of that business, and then you should have skill set to grow that core value. So, but definitely, I tell you, the professional qualification helps you in so many ways. And the most important ways, which I expect from my own life, is that it gives you a stability into a hyper moment when you feel definitely low. But at the mind of that, you always feel that one degree is having with me. I can do the jobs, I can do the consulting. So that falling upon the second layer always comes in mind. So an entrepreneur right now, because a lot of courses are available, so I definitely say that entrepreneur is a very long journey. You see, I always give the example of Chanakya Kautilya. He decided to displace the kingdom of Magad Patna, and people know that ultimately he defeated and put up kingdom to Chanakya, but to Chandragupta. But he took 25 years to do this. He took up child and then trained him, and for 25 years he waited to implement his decision. So entrepreneurship is not a one-day journey, and it is not a choice between employee or a employer or being an entrepreneur. It's a long-term journey. To give yourself a time. You want to be entrepreneur, fine. First, you get those skill set either by formal education or by informal education. Then there is no harm to join some service. 3, 4, 5 years, 8 years. I do it for 8 years. Then start. So there are several things to fall upon as an entrepreneur, that I need to look after my family. I need to look after my cash flow. Everything you have to plan. And if that plan takes certain amount of time, give yourself that time. Prepare and then start. So the basic preparation is a requisite. It's like, if you want to draw a plane on the sky, then you have to first build the airport. So build your own airport of entrepreneurship and then fly your plane so that you don't fall down.
Progress is essential for any business. Do you have any plans for growing your business and how?
See, there is no business without growth, and there is no growth without plans. It is simple. So once I tell you about the child. Child grows every day. So any business has to grow, and the entrepreneurship is only success when the growth is there. If there is no growth, there is no entrepreneurship. So we definitely have the plans to take our success story from West Bengal and then NCR to roll out to Pain India, and we are working for that. And as I said, that our mission is to solve one of the biggest problems of India. We have to reach out to entire 130 crore people of India, and for that we are moving. We are not even 1% market share of India, so 99% is remaining to be grown.
What are the challenges you faced and how did you overcome them?
See, business and entrepreneurship is a challenge. So there are several challenges. One of the most challenges is that capital. So there are a lot of startups who raise millions of dollars. We have that mentality of being efficient. So we don't raise capital buy and go. But when the challenge comes from the capital, not by efficiency, then obviously you feel that how to compete with that. So those are the challenges, and obviously the challenge also come from the fact of uncertain situations like COVID. This is also a challenge. So every business means every day is a challenge, and particularly at position like me, I need to solve the challenge every day, because anything which has been solved has a history. So there is a team to look after that. So anything which comes to me on my table is something new, which my people can't are not able to solve. So this is new problem, and new problem is a challenge. So for me, every day is a challenge, and we love to solve that because that is my job to do.
Yes, so what is your process of overcoming those challenges? Can you give an example?
Yes, so the process is, and I've been very specific. Say our competitors has raised $100 million. So now from my side, we have not prepared to raise the capital. Now they have the capital. They start burning the capital with advertisement and heavy discount, which we have to face it. So if we can't increase the discount because we don't have the capital, we can't go that way in the advertisement because we don't believe in that model. Now, but this is a challenge, real-time challenge on the field. Now, how to solve this? I tell you how to solve this. So now there are two ways. One way is that I get the fear that so many people have raised the capital, and then I get lot of articles. Then only top three will survive. The GMP story and all those things will come. But you have a challenge that you have the limited capital, and then the solution is that you build a model which is very efficient and focus on your customers experience customers and interact with your customers. Tell them that then this is the problem, and they'll understand and continue to solve. So persistence, focus, consumer focus approach is the solution of this. This is the exact uh, problem and the solution.
Thank you, sir. In your opinion, what kind of person makes for a successful entrepreneur or business person?
What kind of person?
Yes, what kind? Like, what are the qualities that person should have to become a successful entrepreneur or business person?
No specific quality. You should be as a child. So I would say what quality should not be. So all these are the buzzwords. Only thing which is required to be successful is the child. So be the child. Always. Always you have to keep your mind free from baggage. You'll be successful.
How important is planning in a business, and did you proceed with it?
See, the planning is the backbone of the business. Business is the forecasting. Business is that you are working for next 5 years. Whatever has been done is history. Forget that. Important is that what you are building for next 10 years, and for next 10 years you have to have a plan that after 5 years what you will do, after 3 years what you will do, next year what you will do, next month what you will do, and next day what you will do, and for next day what is to be done today. So we should have an action taken report with us with our core action plan that this is the to-do agenda today, this is the team which will handle this, and this is how they will handle it. So that must be there for 24 hours, because if there is no planning, there is no business. So any planning is your blood into the business, and you should have a proper plan for everything.
Capital is the lifeblood of a business. What was the source of initial funding? You have attracted some foreign collaboration, or how did you pitch your business idea to prospective investors?
See, the capital is a very essential for any business, but describing it as a lifeline is a bit aspiration. It's not definitely it's not a lifeline. I tell you, skill set is the lifeline, or people is the lifeline. Capital is in full. Capital is not in scarcity. The scarcity is the skill set. Time is the scarcity, not capital. We all have limited time, but capital is plenty. So, yes, what is your question? Can you repeat?
Yeah, my question was ki, how was your, like, what was your initial source of funding?
No, I
And
think yes, very, very interesting. Very interesting that how you source the funding. So, say in 1992, 1989, I came to Calcutta to be CA. Then my father told me that Banwari, I can pay your education expenses, but I won't pay because I want that to be self-dependent. Then as a CA, I have to go to Article C. Then from where at that point of time, my monthly expenses were 600, 500 rupees, including my mess, hostel fees, my everything. But I have to go to RCA Article C. Then what to do? Then one day in Sanbag, there was an advertisement requiring Hindi typist. I went for an interview. He selected me that you join from tomorrow. I told him I can't come from tomorrow. I can only come 2 hours a day or one day in a week. I need 6,500. At that point of time, 6,500 was full monthly salary. I tell you. Then he told me how it is possible. Then I am going. Then my employer told me sit down because Hindi typist means in Calcutta you don't get Hindi typist. And I was from Rajasthan, so I was doing Hindi typist. That I was telling about skill set. So then we had a deal that you take this type machine, keep this at your home, and every evening you give me the letters. So that I do, and I made that 6,500 as a returner, as a Hindi typist. And then for this Microsoft Financial Services, I was knowing that there will be two problems. The one will be the problem of capital, because we need some capital, and second problem will be the client. Getting think clients in investment banking is very, very difficult. Then I analyzed that there are good people in Calcutta, good companies, but if I go and tell them that I will arrange a loan for you, I will do an IPO for you, I'll manage your wealth, they will never share their data with me. They don't know me. But if I go there and I tell them that, look, you are paying 10 crore taxes, I plan your taxes and you will save 5 crore, then they will tell me, okay, come, sit. Then I thought that I want to be an investment banker, but to get an entry and to get the ready-made fees to scale the business, I should be a tax expert first. So in Birla Corporation, I joined as a tax expert, not as an investment banker. 8 years I took training as a taxation and I got the mastery of taxation. In 2000, I built a team of investment banking and focused myself on tax practice. So what happened in tax, I was very master. So I got two clients and took fees to fund my business. And I making money and then funding investment banking business. And then after 3 years, we had enough money. So I stopped my tax consulting business and fully focused on investment banking. So that is how important is the skill set. Self-funding, Atmanirbharta is very, very important. So don't depend upon your life and career upon capitalistic or somebody else capital. Create that kind of ecosystem which can sustain your business. If your business can't sustain the fundability of your venture, then maybe there is a problem in your ecosystem itself. So I tell you, a lot of startups does that mistake. They focus on capital, not their ecosystem, or they focus on how much funding they can raise rather than building an ecosystem which has unique features of, the Infosys never bothered about capital. They funded themselves. The big, good companies, there are hundreds of companies in India which never bothered about capital. They funded themselves and then they grew. So, startups which does not mean that you chase the capital, you chase the, no. You chase your idea and your idea should be capable of making money. That is the best idea.
Competition helps us improve our own selves. Do you agree with this statement? If so, how has it helped you and your business?
See, if there is no competition, your idea is not worthwhile. Because any unique idea if you are coming, if that is worthwhile, if that is making some changes in roads, hundreds of people will come and copy that. So if the competition is coming, that validates your idea that you are good into that. Second thing is that competition is a necessity of the business and that will come. The important is that you build your own competitive advantage. That how you can build your own competitive advantage can come from consumer connectivity. Competitive advantage can come from scale. Competitive advantage can come from brands, or competitive advantage can come from technology. So these 3-4 things can be a competitive advantage. Definitely, our competitive advantage comes from the point that we are the most cost efficient, consumer efficient organization. So our costing of running the organization, both in capital and cost, is the least in the entire India. Our consumer experience is the highest, and that makes us a viable force to reckon with. So focus should be building your own competitive advantage.
What is the importance of marketing in a business and what makes a successful marketing strategy?
See, the marketing in the business is very, very important. You have to reach out to your consumers. And the best part of is the reference. So first build your 3 customers who can bring another 30 customers. So one customer brings 10 customers more. So the most important part of your customer acquisition strategy is reference. And how the reference will come, that will come by the genuinity. Not a lot of people say good quality, good products. That is essential. Everybody will do. Your competitors will also do. What we focus is the genuine. So we make several mistakes, but we genuinely say yes, it is a mistake, and the customer understands. So that communication should be genuine. It's a relationship between you and your customers, your team and your customers. So build that relationship like a friendship. As I said, that here you become a child and treat all your customer as your friend. Then you think that things becomes very, very easy.
In this context, how important is networking, and how much emphasis would you attribute to advertisement in creating brand value?
See, advertisement doesn't create brand value. This is the biggest myth. Advertisement is a communication only. That people know about you. The brand value will only be made after your delivery, and that is also persistent delivery. So the brand is created, advertisement is communicated that okay, there is some company called Sasta Sundar. They deliver medicine, they deliver diagnostic, they deliver wellness. That is the communication you made to the consumers. But there's two all your competitors will do. Where the brand is created, that once you get the order, then you come into picture, then they will experience you how the customer feels after that experience. And that is not only one time because you will experience with all your competitors. So in next 2-3 years, my customer will test me for say 10 times. My customer tests my competitor say 10 times. Then he analyze who is the better. The moment he analyze that who is the better, then he remain with me. At that point of time, my brand is valuable. So, and then I have to continuously do what I did. So the advertisement doesn't create brand. Let us be very, very clear. Advertisement is just a communication. And brand is created by sustained delivery of the promise which you made. So focus on sustained delivery of the promises which you made. Just fulfill your promises. Customers are very kind because one thing is lacking in this market is the genuinity. People give the fake advertisement, fake communication, and the customer understand everything. If not by tomorrow, after 1 month they will understand. And the moment they understand, they will clear all your issues. So that is the thing.
So, can you elaborate more on the importance of networking?
Yes, the importance of networking is two-way. Networking is also a buzzword. These people use it. Networking is important, definitely important, but not that important as it is stated to be. You should network, but more than network, you should have a relationship continuity. Because if you are creating 10 new relationship and not serving another relationship, in my view, because I and Prem are talking after 20 years of living the hostel also, that is called a networking. It's not that I do the networking and forget my older friends. So networking is sustainability. Too many people are in your networking, then doesn't work anything. Keep 5-6 good people with you. And network them, make friendship with them genuinely. That is enough for you. You don't need to create them. Obviously, social networking sites are there, be LinkedIn and Facebook. Those who create networks, that is always helpful. But close networking means keeping your relationship alive, keeping your old friends alive, keeping in touch with your teachers. They'll continue to motivate you because they know you. What kind of thoughts will make you laugh. So they will immediately tell you something that you will feel motivated. So it is very important that to look back yourself and start networking with your old teachers, with your old friends, because they know your DNA, what kind of people you are, and that will create a emotionally connected people around you.
On this context, did you have any mentor or role model? Tell us about the role of a mentor.
See, the role model and mentor is very, very important because they are your teachers. So every time, at every stage, fortunately I had the mentors. So in my build-up occupation, I had my seniors, Mr. R.P. Pansari, Mr. S.N. Prasad, Mr. Vinod Sharma. They taught me a lot of things. They taught me what tactics I know today. So that is very important. Once I started investment banking, then also there were mentors. As my co-founder, Mr. Ravikant Sharma, Rakesh Soni, they were my mentors. We tend to motivate each other, and then your client becomes mentor. In an advisory business, you solve a problem, then you understand it. Then they will come with new problems, then you will understand it. So then they will be the mentors, and then in SastaSundar.com, our customers are our mentors because they will write reviews and everything. They teach you how to do business. So that is how mentorship runs, and it changes from time to time.
What is the importance of customer relations for an entrepreneurial venture?
See, the only one thing which makes you successful in entrepreneurship is successful relationship with your customers. That is the only thing which you are there. Sasa Sundar is what it is because every day thousands of customers buy from Sasa Sundar. Therefore, the Sasa Sundar exists. If they don't come out of the app and buy, we don't exist. So this is the most important point in the customer's life. They are the backbone. You can say that is the life of the business, not capital. You ask that capital is the life. No, the customer relationship is the life of the business.
What changes would you suggest in the regulatory mechanism of the state to make it business friendly?
I will squarely say what Prem says. He has given me the word from litigation to justice. So that we should frame the regulations for justice, not for litigation. That is the buzzword. I myself is amazed that if we start working on this, even 10% judiciary rules are changed towards this, the whole system will change. The entire psychology, mentality will change. So I think our regulations are basically framed to create more litigation, less justice. If our regulations are focused on making justice and no litigation, things will dramatically change.
We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. In this context, how much satisfaction do you derive while you do something for the underprivileged? Do you suggest any change in the law relating to corporate social responsibility?
See, the law is not the solution. What I put into that, why I am here. I studied in a government school in Dhaka, where 25 rooms were built by some donors. The water tank was built by some donors. The toilet was built by some donors. The field was built by some donors. So I was able to complete my primary education because there were some kind of people who donated to build that school. Then I came to Calcutta. There was Harvasi Hostel. That was again a charitable trust. Somebody, some kind of trade people built that hostel so that I can live there and complete my CA examinations. And even today, my children are going into La Martine school. They charge very nominal fees because some kind of trade people built that school where my children are living. So it's not a responsibility and it's not something which I'm going to do great. It is repaying your loan which you have taken from the society. So if I calculate that kind of liability which other people have created in forms of rooms, building in my school, or building that hostel, Halwasia hostel, if I calculate the annuity value, then even if I give my life, I cannot repay it. So if I do something for same thing which I have enjoyed, or even today my children are enjoying, then think the perspective change. So if little you can do, probably you can pay little bit of interest what you have taken from the society.
What changes do you suggest in the legal or judicial system?
Only one change. Change your approach from litigation to justice. This one is the buzzword, fabulous line. I never read such a fabulous line. I wrote it in his Facebook page. Such a beautiful line. Just focus on that.
Thank you so much, Shri Banwari Mittal sir, for dwelling into such detailed discussions. I'm sure the insights shared by you will help budding business people. And now I want to thank our respected and beloved sir, Dr. Prem Kumar Agarwal, on behalf of all budding entrepreneurs. And over to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mansi. Thank you, Banwari. It was really a joy listening to you, Banwari. You not only are a successful entrepreneur, but you still retain your oratorial skills, and the lovely way in which you explain things makes you one of the great teachers, I feel, of management school. Some of the things which you spoke, which came from the cauldron of your experience, was really soothing. Banwari, would you like to recollect some of your anecdotes of your childhood of Rajasthani language which you remember, maybe in the poems of Kanhaiya Lal Sethia or somebody else regarding Dharti Dhorari or something. Would you like to share any of those things? Because I love to listen to those things from you in my hostel days. Do you remember any of them, or would you like to share any of them? Are you still
No,
in touch with any of them?
definitely, but this is an entrepreneurship, so I would like to state some of the entrepreneurship lokoktis of the Marwadi, which I listen to so many people.
Yes,
So,
please.
so for an entrepreneurship, some there are some beautiful lokoktis in
Yes.
Marwadi. So I start that say Ram Ram Sa is a lokokti.
Ram Ram,
Ram
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 sir, right.
Sa. So when two entrepreneurs of Marwads meet each other, they say Ram Ram Sa. What is that behind it? So there is the introduction. One say Ram Ram Sa means I as a person belongs to Ram. I I will commit and I will meet all my obligation and my commitments. And I belongs to the culture of Ram, which is very prosperous and which is very kind. Then other fellow says Ram Ram. It means if you are a person of Ram, I am a person of Ram. So I will also meet my obligation. So there is the kind of introduction to Marwadi's head with you, which gives a connotation of sense of belief and to start building the
Very
relationship.
good. A strong
Then there is
foundation of ethics and values. Very good. Yes, yes. Next.
next I tell you, there is very good lokokti. टीबड़ा में पानी टीबड़ा में पानी नव लेखा निर्माणी. There is a story behind it. One said or Mahajan was going into the desert. He was wearing the Navlaka har. Today means millions of dollars.
Yes.
Then his water was finished. Was not. Then he got a girl who was carrying a bottle of water. He asked that, "Beta, you give me this water." The girl asked that, "Give me your Nolaka har."
Yes.
And he has to give it. So the lesson is that in business, the liquidity is the most important, not the value.
Right, right. That's true.
So always keep 10% of your assets in liquid cash
Liquid cash. Okay.
because the cash is the king.
Very nice. Yes.
One very good for startups, there is very good lokokti. एक पूंजी जमी दो बार एक पूंजी जमी दो बार तीन गुनी just discharge. So for all startup, एक पूंजी means you should have the capital which is required, not more, not less. एक पूंजी जमी दो बार. Your land should be twice. Now the land you can treat as an infrastructure because at a time when growth comes, you can't build your infrastructure in a go. So the land should be twice the requirement. And guni teen means intelligent people technology should be thrice the requirement because that is the most ingredients to deliver. And yes, this chart, your marketing should be all four corners of the world. That is a very good lokokti for budding startups. So these
Very
are
good.
some of the things which I said with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Banwari. It was
Thank
really very soothing to listen to you. Okay, so regarding corporate social responsibility, we saw Banwari. He is attached with ISKCON Foundation. He has his own foundation of Microsec Foundation. So he is contributing, giving back to the society to the best of his ability. He rightly says we are the trustees of the wealth which we have got from the society, and we must repay to a considerable extent. That is the jurisprudence behind corporate social responsibility. And as he believes in the real work and not in the letter of the law but the spirit of the law, which we quite well understood while he spoke. Thank you, Banwari, for your time. In spite of your busy schedule, you did come and explain so nicely your 2 decades old journey as an entrepreneur. Very nice. Thank you, Banwari. Thank you so much. Thank you,
you.
Mansi.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mansi,
Sir,
for
I
your
cannot thank
insightful
you enough
question.
for giving such an opportunity to interact with a gem like Shri Banwari Mittal sir. And I share this privilege with all budding entrepreneurs. I want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart for helping in every possible way by teaching, guiding, and mentoring many students like us.
Thank
Mansi
you.
is actually the daughter of our Sunil Yaduka in the
Oh,
hostel. You remember?
okay.
Yeah. She is the elder
I,
daughter of Sunil Yaduka. And Mansi is now the student of NIFT Patna. And she
okay.
nurtures the dream of becoming an entrepreneur in the field of art. She is a fine art student. So
Great.
we we are waiting with a lot of dreams for Mansi. Okay,
Actually,
Mansi, thank you.
I'm a
Yes.
design student, but I'm passionate about art. So design is my
uh,
skill set, and art is something that I would like to do business in.
Very good, very good. And we all pray and bless you so that you can be successful in life.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Banwari.
for
Thank you, Banwari,
Thank
once
you.
thank you
more.
for
Thank you.
joining us.
Thank you.